Rachel Zegler, who stars as Snow White, condemned Prince Charming as weird and a stalker, adding that she hates the original. Nice start. Leaked photos from a set revealed that the seven dwarves had been sensationally axed, replaced by multiracial, gender non-specific, magical humans.
You know what? Maybe Disney does. Maybe you're a tool, you're a pawn in this film. You didn't write it, you didn't direct it. You have nothing to do with the creation of Snow White.
Right.
You should shut up and do the job.
For generations, the name Snow White has conjured a world of enchanting forests, whimsical dwarves, and the timeless quest for true love. It's a cornerstone of Disney magic, a fairy tale etched into the collective consciousness. But prepare to have your storybook notions challenged, because the upcoming live-action reimagining of Snow White is anything but a traditional happily ever after. Instead, it's become a lightning rod for controversy, a cinematic storm brewing long before its theatrical debut. From casting choices that ignited debate to radical alterations of the beloved narrative and whispers of behind-the-scenes turmoil, this film has been battling a relentless barrage of negative press. Is this a daring modern evolution of a cherished classic, breathing new life into an old tale? Or is it a fairy tale fumble of epic proportions destined to be remembered more for its PR woes than its cinematic charm? Let's journey into the heart of the drama engulfing Disney's Snow White, and dissect whether this reboot is poised for a triumphant royal coronation or a descent into a box office dungeon.
After one hell of a PR tour, Disney's live-action Snow White is finally, I know, you were wondering, it's going to be hitting movie theaters next week.
It's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about
she's gonna die.
true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
I interpret people's feelings about this film as passion for it, and what an honor to be able to be part of something that people are so passionate about. We're not always going to have the same feelings as everyone around us, meaning the entire viewing public.
The first spark that ignited this fairy tale firestorm was the casting of Rachel Zegler as Snow White. While many lauded Disney's move towards inclusive representation, celebrating a Latina actress taking on this iconic role, Zegler's own commentary seemed to throw gasoline on the embers of debate. She didn't just step into Snow White's glass slippers, she appeared ready to shatter them. Her statements about the original animated film sent ripples of shock and, for some, outrage. The character of Prince Charming, a figure synonymous with fairy tale romance? According to reports, Zegler offered a rather unromantic assessment, suggesting he was, to put it mildly, strange and even exhibiting stalker tendencies. These weren't just casual remarks, they were perceived as a deliberate dismantling of core fairy tale tropes. Furthermore, Zegler indicated this new Snow White wouldn't be passively waiting for rescue or dreaming of romance. Instead, the focus would be on her ambitions to lead, to govern, to fulfill a destiny beyond finding a prince. Suddenly, the classic ballad, "Someday My Prince Will Come," felt not just dated, but almost anachronistic. For a significant portion of the audience, this felt like a direct affront to the nostalgic heart of Snow White, raising immediate concerns about the film's fidelity to its source material and sparking the initial wave of unease that would soon swell into a tidal wave of controversy. But this princess's pronouncements were merely the opening act in a much larger drama.
Yes.
And all we can do is put our best foot forward. By that, you mean entitled and browbeating and proselytizing.
You had Rachel Zegler on the docket, too. I think actresses should be quiet. I understand
She's
why.
such an asshole.
You know,
Is she the one that's on the cover of Cosmo with the cover story authored by Jack Antonoff?
I don't know. I
Is
just
that
know
the
of her
same girl?
stupid statements in the
Let me
news.
look this up.
yeah, I think actresses should be quiet. And
I love
It is, and it's really mean to put her next to Gal Gadot, who's absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
So
It's not fair. We argued about that, but
If Zegler's comments were a tremor, what followed was a full-blown earthquake. Disney's decision regarding the Seven Dwarfs, those endearingly quirky gem-mining personalities, detonated a bomb within the fairy tale fandom. The studio announced a radical departure from tradition. The iconic dwarves, as we knew them, were being phased out. In their place, the film would feature magical creatures, described as a diverse ensemble of varying genders, ethnicities, and even heights. The publicly stated rationale was rooted in a desire to avoid perpetuating harmful stereotypes, aiming for a more respectful and contemporary representation. However, this attempt at progressive storytelling arguably backfired with unforeseen intensity. The backlash was swift and severe. Adding fuel to the fire, actor Peter Dinklage, a respected figure celebrated for his roles in projects like Game of Thrones and a prominent voice for dwarf representation, entered the fray with a powerful critique. Dinklage didn't mince words, questioning the very premise of Disney's approach. He expressed bewilderment at the studio's seemingly contradictory stance, celebrating diversity in the lead casting while simultaneously, in his view, sidestepping genuine representation for little people by eliminating dwarf actors from dwarf roles. Dinklage's articulate and impassioned criticism resonated deeply, amplifying the existing controversy and prompting a crucial question. Was this a genuine step forward in representation, or a misguided attempt at sanitizing a classic, inadvertently erasing a community in the process? As the alterations to the original story mounted, the undercurrent of fan dissatisfaction surged into open rebellion.
Here's the thing. For those of you who have forgotten, right now, yes, this is... So people are upset and people are not looking to watch this film, Snow White, because they're passionate, and she's thrilled to be a part of something, and she's just doing her best.
Our rights are on the line, folks. Our reproductive rights.
Ugh.
Come on.
Okay, Cheshire Cat.
Go vote blue. And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button. I don't need your business.
You know, what's really interesting about this is not that this is something new. Rachel Zegler has been doing this for a very long time.
The digital realm transformed into a battleground. The internet became the stage for a fierce and often vitriolic debate, with Disney positioned squarely as the target of widespread ire. The accusation of going woke, a term often used to criticize perceived oversensitivity to social justice issues, became a rallying cry for disgruntled viewers. Too politically correct was another frequent charge leveled against the studio. Loyal Disney enthusiasts, individuals whose childhoods were intertwined with the magic of the original animation, voiced feelings of deep betrayal, perceiving their treasured memories as being carelessly discarded in the pursuit of perceived modern sensibilities. Calls for boycotts gained traction. Hashtags designed to express outrage proliferated across social media platforms, and online discussions descended into heated exchanges, often bordering on hostility. Critics emerged, arguing that Disney was sacrificing the very essence and charm of the original Snow White narrative, all in the name of what ultimate goal? For many, the alterations felt less like thoughtful updates and more like a forced march towards a particular ideological viewpoint, a move that risked alienating a significant portion of their established fan base. The chorus of negative sentiment grew louder, more insistent, creating a deafening din of disapproval, and Disney's subsequent response to this escalating crisis, it was, to put it mildly, unconventional and arguably fueled even more speculation and intrigue.
You could believe that, or you could look at the fact that she has been sabotaging this film for years at this point.
The original
Disney
cartoon
does.
came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
You called her a pig?
She's a pig. I know, I'm harsh. Sometimes I really
She's
get
a
on
young
her
girl.
roll. Oh, fuck her.
We've called people slam pigs, so.
There we go.
In a move that sparked even greater intrigue and conjecture, Disney appeared to shift into a mode of pronounced damage control. The traditional Hollywood premiere, a dazzling spectacle of glamour, flashing cameras, and red carpet interviews, was conspicuously absent, or at least drastically reimagined. Instead of the usual grand celebration, reports began to circulate about a remarkably subdued, almost clandestine event. Whispers suggested a scaled-back premiere, strictly limited to a select group of photographers and an in-house media team. The vibrant red carpet, typically a platform for star-studded pronouncements and effusive praise, notably absent Variety, a respected industry publication, confirmed that the planned event on March 15th would be meticulously controlled, allowing only pre-approved media access. This departure from standard Hollywood practice immediately triggered a wave of questions. Was Disney actively attempting to evade difficult inquiries from the press? Were they apprehensive about a potential PR catastrophe unfolding live on the red carpet? This air of unusual secrecy only served to amplify pre-existing suspicions that the studio harbored deep reservations about the film's impending reception. It seemed as though Disney was attempting to minimize public exposure, hoping to discreetly slip the film into theaters with as little fanfare and potential for negative press as possible. But amidst this gathering storm of negativity, a solitary voice emerged, offering a surprisingly contrasting perspective, a flicker of optimism in the gathering gloom.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button.
Wow, what a scene.
I don't need your business.
Wait, feminist Conor McGregor.
Who the fuck is that guy?
It's a weird walk for a weird broad, and I don't like it.
You don't particularly see people who, look like me or are me playing roles like that. So it was definitely, when it got announced, it was a huge...
You mean your guess is as good as mine
It was,
ethnicity?
trending on Twitter for days because all of the people were angry.
Enter Gal Gadot, the internationally renowned actress whose portrayal of Wonder Woman cemented her as a global icon. Now Gadot was poised to inhabit a vastly different, decidedly darker role, the iconic evil queen in this reimagined Snow White. While the controversy surrounding the film intensified, Gadot adopted a strikingly upbeat and supportive public stance. She actively encouraged audiences to experience the film for themselves, proclaiming it unequivocally a great movie and worth seeing. Consider the irony. The actress playing the villain, the antagonist of the classic fairy tale, emerged as one of the film's most vocal and enthusiastic champions. Was this genuine conviction? A sincere belief in the film's merit? Or was it a calculated act of strategic damage control, a seasoned performer deploying her considerable star power to mitigate the mounting negative narrative? Could Gadot's undeniable charisma and unwavering positivity somehow counteract the prevailing wave of skepticism and negativity threatening to engulf the project? It was an unexpected and intriguing twist in the unfolding saga, leaving observers to ponder whether the fairest of them all in this new iteration might possess the power to cast a different kind of spell, one capable of reversing the tide of public opinion. Yet, beyond the immediate drama and star power dynamics, the Snow White saga serves as a potent case study, illuminating far larger, more systemic challenges confronting Disney and the broader entertainment industry.
This has been such a catastrophic nightmare for Disney that Disney has decided to cancel the premieres of Snow White.
I know, she's dumb. She's young and she's dumb. But maybe she'll learn. You know what? Whatever I called her, it worked.
The premiere events obviously are times when the actors and actresses can hype themselves and the product and can speak to the press on the red carpet, can be photographed in gowns and saying funny, quirky things.
She's had a long history of saying woke, annoying things. Our new Snow White.
This live-action Snow White is far more than just one film release. It has become a potent symbol, a microcosm reflecting the broader cultural tensions that define our current era. It acts as a magnifying glass, focusing the intense debate surrounding nostalgia versus contemporary relevance, tradition against the demands for progressive representation. Disney, a media empire built upon the bedrock of classic fairy tales, finds itself navigating an increasingly precarious tightrope walk in the age of instant social media feedback and heightened sensitivities surrounding cultural and social issues. The studio is actively attempting to breathe new life into its treasured back catalog, to reimagine beloved narratives for a 21st century audience. However, in pursuing this modernization strategy, they run the very real risk of alienating the core fan base, the generations who grew up cherishing those original tales precisely as they were. The Snow White controversy serves as a stark illustration of the immense pressure Hollywood studios now face, the imperative to be simultaneously perceived as progressive and yet remain consistently profitable, to honor their artistic heritage while desperately striving to maintain cultural relevance in a world undergoing rapid and often turbulent change. Each remake, each reimagining becomes a cultural referendum, a litmus test gauging how far studios can push established boundaries before the very essence of the magic. The enchantment that captivated audiences for decades begins to dissipate, to vanish under the weight of controversy. And as the film's release date draws ever closer, the most fundamental, overarching question continues to loom large, unanswered.
That despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them,
Disney's saying, we've had enough buzz creation for this movie.
that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
A magic mirror on the wall in this fractured landscape of opinion, will this reimagined Snow White ultimately stand tall as a testament to modern storytelling, or will it tragically fall, a cautionary tale of creative missteps and PR miscalculations? Will audiences, both loyal devotees and new generations, embrace this contemporary interpretation, or will the persistent cloud of controversy irrevocably eclipse the film's artistic merits? Regardless of its box office performance, one thing appears increasingly certain: this particular iteration of Snow White will be indelibly etched into the annals of cinematic history. It has transcended the realm of mere entertainment, becoming a potent lightning rod, attracting and channeling fervent debates about representation, the enduring power of nostalgia, and the very evolving soul of Disney's cherished fairy tale legacy. Whether it ultimately proves to be a triumphant fairy tale ending for the studio or a stark cautionary narrative for Hollywood's remake machinery, this film has undeniably ignited passionate conversations, compelling us to confront the complex dynamics of reimagining classics in a world that increasingly resists simplistic narratives and demands nuanced perspectives. So will this Snow White herald a new era of fairy tale reinvention for Disney, or serve as a stark warning against tampering too drastically with beloved traditions? Only time and the ultimate judgment of the global audience will definitively reveal the answer.